Hi everybody. So it's me again, Jen the RN, your motivational eater. And today I decided to do something different. Remember I told you that I wanted to bring different practitioners on board to be able to speak with you about health and about wellness. So I am so excited because today I have my SVA sister, Sharon Elise. And she is a holistic wellness practitioner. Did I get your title correctly?
Yes.
Awesome. And so she has a wealth of knowledge, and she's been working in this field for quite some time now, helping different people. And she agreed to come and sit down with us today and have a talk. Today we're going to be talking about fears, failures, toxins, and the detox. So I just want to give Sharon this platform right now just to be able to introduce yourself, say hello to everyone, let them know what you want them to know about yourself.
Yes. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I am super excited to see you. I think it's our first time seeing
Yes,
each other
I
since high
know.
school.
Yes, exactly.
So it's so awesome. As Jennifer said, I am a holistic wellness practitioner. What that means is I work with individuals to tap into the holistic of their being, to see where it is there may be places of fear, of doubt, of uncertainty, of brokenness that they need to heal from. I believe wholeheartedly that we are all healing from something always, and that when we learn to heal ourselves continuously, we're able to tap into our creative side and be able to inspire other people like Jennifer is doing with this blog. So it's so exciting to be here. I'm just looking forward to our topic and jumping into it.
Yes. I definitely want to vibe with you, and we're going to make this as organic as possible. Just speaking off the top of our head about our experiences and the research that we've done and the things that we know about fears, failures, and toxins. But before we dive into that, I just want to give a shout out to Mo Pui's Bakery. This is in Denville, New Jersey. It's a vegan bakery where you're able to get anything from tasty treats to tasty vegan macaroni and cheese. Yes, isn't it good?
It is
Yes,
so good.
it is so good. So we want to thank you, the Allen family and Chris, the baker, who allowed us to be able to use this venue so that we can do today's vlog. So thank you. So getting into the topic, we chose this topic, or we decided on this topic because, yes, I'm the motivational eater, but before you can, get into changing your lifestyle or eating right or anything like that, you're first going to want to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind.
Absolutely.
And so when we think of eating or consumption, we shouldn't necessarily just think of it in the physical aspect of, us just eating, like this, but also eating in terms of what we're consuming mentally, because all of those different things affect us as well, and they come into the physical realm in terms of how we end up connecting with food and the emotional connections that we make with food because of things that are going on in our lives. And so I think that fears, failures, and toxins are some of the heavy hitters in life in terms of things that really affect us emotionally and affect our body and our health in life, and how we move, the decisions that we make, what we eat, and things like that. Do you agree?
No, I absolutely agree. I feel like my whole spiel is about fears.
Yes.
And fears, failures, and toxins, that's it.
Yes.
That is it. That's that negative energy that
Yes.
keeps us from just getting forward and
Yes.
being able to see clearly.
Yes.
And so, I totally agree with you. I have learned through a workshop I taken that we're supposed to chew food 50 times.
Wow.
And I said, oh my goodness, the amount of consciousness that
yes,
I take to chew 50 times before I swallow. I said, oh my God, I don't think I made it past 13.
I know, I'm like 3 and then I'm down.
You know? But just think about that and how it has to do with the way that we're digesting our food and how we're treating our body. You know, it's just that means something too. Like, you know, it's the physical, the mental, and the spiritual, as you said.
Yes.
I feel like we have to be able to tap into those things before we can move beyond those things, which I say, you know, I talk about the 5 points of wellness, and I add to spiritual, mental, and physical, I add to those emotional and financial, because I feel like how we are emotionally well and financially well, you know, I'm dealing with my finances now. It was an area of growth for me for sure.
Me too, girl.
Yeah, you know, these student loan debts are killing me. Okay. So, you know, but I had to be able to address it, because it was like, you know, money is energy as well. So what am I saying energetically about my relationship to money?
Right.
And so I think the more we're aware of how we're engaging on those 5 planes, it will help us to be able to see where we are being fearful, where we are focusing on ourselves, how we're being toxic, and thinking about, you know, what we can do differently to make different choices for ourselves.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let's get into these different topics. So let's start off with fears, right? So there is this article. The article is by workitdaily.com, and it's called the 12 most common fears that hold us back from success.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with the article, just in terms of fear being this thing that does affect our self-confidence, and affects our ability to go forth and, you know, do great things. So some of the things that it listed in the article were fears of failure, fears of success, fears of the unknown, fears of embarrassment, and quite a few other things. But I just wanted to ask you, in terms of fears, what would you say are some fears that stand out to you as fears that hold people back from being able to be successful, and also that, you know, well, let's start there. What are some fears that hold people back from being successful?
No, absolutely. I think my greatest fear was fear of other people's opinion. I cared too much about other people. That was me. I cared so much about what other people thought. I wasted so much time. Yes. You know, and so I feel like that is a huge fear. I hear fear of, you know, abandonment, fear of shame, fear of guilt. You know, people get, I like to talk about it, you know, in analogy form. You know, we get held captive in these cages, and it just, you know, if I had to envision it, it's like there's this cage, but there's no lock on the door, and I can come in and out when I want to, but I'm staying in this cage because I feel more comfortable here. Yes. You know, fear keeps us from navigating that unknown space, and as human beings, we like to know what's ahead. You know, everyone wants to know their future, but you know, you just can't know. Right. But I like to say, in terms of eating, I tell my clients all the time, my favorite line is, you know, if you eat sweets every day, probably what future would you have? And I say maybe diabetes, because you're eating sugar every day. But so if you every day made choices for yourself that could make your future a little bit better. Right. What if today you said, you know, I'm going to start writing that blog. I'm going to start my vlog channel. I'm going to, you know, open up a bakery. Whatever it is that you want to do, and you say, today I'm going to start doing it. That's you moving that much closer toward your fear. And I noticed that the fear doesn't ever go away. Like, fear is going to always be there. It's always there, you know, but the great thing is that you can learn to live with it. Yes. And I think that is the beautiful thing that you and I are even showing in this moment, that, you know, we're living beyond our fears, living with it, but still doing what it is that we want to do.
Yes. I mean, I totally agree with that. And my next question was going to be, you know, what advice you have for people in terms of facing their fears, but you've pretty much said it, which is, just taking that first step, going out there, regardless of the fear, and conquering it and doing what it is that, you want to do, and not allowing fear to hold you back. And so I want to transition from there into failures, right? So with failures, I don't have an article, but I had my own personal testimony. And in my own personal testimony, I actually experienced a major failure in my life. And that major failure was in nursing school. So the first time I entered into my first nursing program, I wasn't really paying too much attention. I had been one of those kids in school where you pay attention in class and then you get good grades, right? So here I am now in this nursing program, and I'm going to class thinking, all I have to do is pay attention and I'm going to be able to ace these tests, and just totally bombed the whole semester and ended up being placed out of the program. And when I say that affected my self-confidence so much, Sharon, oh my goodness, it took a while for me to be able to rebuild my self-confidence back up again, and to just keep going. But it's just a testament to how failures also impact your life. But I just want to say to everyone out there, don't stay where you're at. Don't stay in that position of failure, because I've been there, and you just feel like you're in this place, in a box, and you're just stuck, and things just keep happening, and you feel even use a pool analogy, and you're in water, and the water is just slowly coming up, and you're trying to get above, but things just keep happening. But I just want to tell you, just keep going. Don't allow that failure to define you. And that's what I ended up doing. And I had, a great support team. I had, my family and my friends around to let me know that, it was okay that I failed. But what am I going to do from here? What's going to be that next step? So I always see quotes like that, It's okay to fail. Failure isn't a bad thing. It's when you stay in failure, that's the bad thing. It's about being able to move forward out of that situation. And so from there, I just started to move forward and, really start to buckle down and focus and really learn how to study. And so, I have to say that failure turned out to be a great experience for me, such a life-changing experience for me, because it has created the path to who I am today, and me being able to sit here with you as the motivational eater. It taught me about perseverance. It taught me about humility. So don't always look at failure as this bad thing. That's the message that I have, and that I want to say is that failure can mold you into this new person and teach you so many amazing new things. And so even I have this scripture up here, be strong and courageous. And in my journey to becoming the motivational eater, I had this situation happen where still that failure, it's like a cloud that hangs over you. Remember how you were talking about it's always that fear is going to be there? That failure created this fear. It's like the two of them are associated with each other. And even in starting this vlog, I really was afraid. I didn't want to do it. Afraid of people's opinions and what they're going to say, and who's going to laugh at me, or hospital nurses. Those are the nurses that receive the most praise. And me being a community nurse, I've experienced sometimes with my coworkers where people will make a face or things like that, or look down as if community nursing isn't as important. And so I just wanted to be able to step forward, even though it is frightening, and say, you know what, forget what people have to say, forget about their opinions. I'm going to create my own lane. I see a need out in the community. I see our people suffering from chronic illnesses and diseases. And so I want to act. I want to do something in the community so that they don't end up in the hospital with, you know, heart failure, kidney failure, and all of these other different things. But I'm rambling on, so
No, it's awesome.
let me know, do you have any personal testimonies about like failure and how you were able to come up out of your failure?
No, yeah. I too was in school.
Okay.
I went to get my doctorate degree, and it was during that time that I knew I didn't want to be a therapist. I knew in my master's program I didn't want to be a therapist.
Okay.
But, you know, I had always had dreams of being a writer. Oh my God, I have a funny story. Sister Connie, right? Sophomore year, I wrote a poem for her class 30 minutes before the class started because I didn't do my homework the night before. And then she tells me to come after class, you know, after she, you know, read through the homework assignments. And she asks me if I plagiarized the poem because it was that good. Like, it was really good. She thought that I had plagiarized it. And I was like, no, like, actually, I did it 30 minutes before class. Like, I was very transparent because I wanted her to know, like, I did not, you know. But I feel like having people like that in my life that believed so much in my writing was what led me to come back to it. While I was in my doctoral program, I started doing research into holistic wellness and spirituality. I feel like that was how I found myself, the person that you're sitting for today. And all this while, there was this voice like, you know, drop out, like telling me. And I'm like, no, like I had never quit anything in my life. Like, not academically. Like, I quit like cheerleading and different things like that. But academically, like, no. Like, it was, you know, I graduated. I finished. And so I wasted a whole year. I finished all of my academic work. I went looking for an internship because I had to get this PhD. I needed it to validate my written voice because no one would want to hear me if I didn't have this degree. No one would want to listen to me or anything I had to say if I didn't have this degree. And so God was just telling me, quit. Quit. It was heavy for a whole year. I wasted a whole year of tuition, paying a whole year of tuition that I did nothing with. And then finally I said, you know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna quit. And everybody around me, I was telling, no, don't do it. And so when you want to step out on your faith, don't listen to anything that anybody has to say when you feel it in your gut. Because I wasted a whole year. This whole year I was telling people I wanted to do it, but everybody, no, you'll be crazy. You know, I couldn't find an internship that I liked. You know, I was finding internships, but like you, I was very passionate about the work that I wanted to do, and I wanted to find meaningful work. And so finally, I withdrew from the program, and there was this huge weight lifted off my chest. I felt like I could breathe, you know, and, you know, like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I felt like I was barely, you know, head above water. When I met my husband, he said, you know, you're professionally unemployed. That's what he kept calling it. No, an unemployed professional. That's what he said. You're an unemployed professional, like, because I was just okay. Like, I didn't know, you know, I didn't have any money in my pocket. I was working a part-time job, making $8.50, but I was okay with my life because, you know, I was happy. I was just so happy. It was so great. And so, you know, my husband actually, while we were dating, he bought me the blog, and then I didn't do anything with it, though. I didn't do anything with it. Like, it was a birthday gift. So my birthday's in June. He bought it for me as a birthday gift. And by August, he's like, okay, so I'm paying for this a monthly. Are you going to do something with it? And I'm like, okay. And so I took that leap of faith. I set a date. You know, I set a date for myself, and I said, on this date, I'm going to start writing. And I did. And I was inconsistent with it because, like, life happens. Things start happening, and you get in that dark space. But I started doing it, and as I was able to navigate through, you don't know what you're doing while you're doing it. You're just doing it. And then I learned how to plan and how to, like, manage my time differently and got more focused.
Oh, I need that.
No, like, I'll definitely help you. Like,
Thank you.
Because, you know, once I was able to understand where it was that I was going, it helped me to navigate that unknown space a little differently because now that fear wasn't encapsulating me. It wasn't engulfing me. It's still there, but it's like, okay, I see you, fear. Hi, I'm still going to do it anyway because I know what it is I'm working towards. I know what it is I have to do. So it does allow you to get a hang on that. But yeah, like, I do have a fear, you know, I mean, I do have a failure story. you know, dropping out from a doctorate program, not having a PhD, it's super, you know, it hurt so bad. Like, it hurt so bad because it was like a dream that I had since, you know, 11th grade, you know, but I'm happy and I love what I do. I love my work. I do it for free if I could. You know, I went around for a whole year asking people, if you could do one thing every day for the rest of your life without getting paid to do it, what would it be? And for me, it's this. Talking about stuff like this. I love holistic wellness. I love talking about the totality of our being. I love talking about the journey. It's my favorite thing to talk about. And so, you know, this is it for me. And I feel like for people, you know, find what it is for you. And that is going to help you to get out of your fears and get out of that failure. Find the thing that you love and do that thing.
Yes. I absolutely agree. And that is actually a great segue into Toxins because there was another article that I found, and that one is entitled The Top 10 Toxins to Remove from Your Life in Order to Be Happy, and it's by healthfitnessrevolution.com. I'll be sure to post both of the articles, a link to the articles, so that you guys can read them for yourselves. But in the article, it talks about toxic situations, so an unsatisfying job, harmful friendships, clutter, jealousy. What are some of the other things that they had in there?
I think it was complacency, overworking.
Yes.
You said jealousy.
Yes. So basically, you know, an unhealthy environment, whether that's mentally or whether that's physically. So let's start off with, you know, working. If you're in a job and you don't like that job, your goal needs to be to find a way to get to where it is that you want to be in life. You should never be complacent. So there goes that complacency, right? You should never be complacent in where you're at and, you know, just working there just to get money, because that as well is going to affect you, you know, spiritually. It's going to affect your body. It's going to affect your mental health. What do you say?
No, I agree. Any toxic environment, whether physically, like mentally, what you're saying to yourself and your thoughts, like, you know, it's so important to be cleansed of that negative energy and that toxic waste. And if your job is not satisfying to you, you definitely have to be willing to look outside of that. And I feel like people get so afraid and so, you know, so stuck. You know, that fear to move beyond that, to step out and do something different. You know, I had the thought just today, like, we have to be lifetime students. Like, you have to always want to do more, to learn more, to seek more, so that you can expand your mind to different things. And if you become complacent, you're never going to allow yourself to grow into, you know, the best self that you can be. You know, so it's so important.
And the next one, harmful friendships, or even, you know, just family members too.
I say relationships.
Yes, harmful relationships, whether it be with family or whether it be with friends. What do you have to say on that, and why it is that it's important to address that in your life?
Well, I feel like because we are human beings, so first off, we're connected. Everything is a system, it's a relationship. And so if the relationships that we're connected to aren't mutually beneficial, helping us to progress further, if they're not helping us to evolve, then they are toxic and they need to go. They, you know, again, we're energy beings. I like to say, you know, we're banks. So if I'm making a deposit into your bank and you're making a deposit into my bank, then awesome, we are doing business. It feels well. But if you just come in to withdraw from my bank and you're not making any deposits, something has got to go. You know, something has got to go. And it's not about, you know, what someone is depositing, whether it's 50 cents or $1, because people come with what they are, and we try to give to them as best we can. As you said, even with doing the community work and people looking on down upon it, no, those are human beings that you're working with, that you're dealing with, that you're bringing healing to. So it's not about, you know, what we're showing up with. is that we're showing up.
Right.
And that we're giving.
Right.
And a lot of times people are not giving, or what they're giving
Right.
is so negative and
Right.
so toxic
Right.
and just so draining that
Yes.
it's like, okay, you have to go. And so that just comes with setting boundaries, I
Yes,
feel,
yes.
and just, being more true to yourself and saying what it is that you're willing or not willing to accept.
Okay. I could not have said it better. I mean, just in terms of your family, I love your analogy with the bank. I think that is so perfect because it really puts things in perspective. Just in terms of, I mean, think about it in reality. If you have a savings account and you just keep taking money out of there and you're never putting anything in, what do the banks do?
Okay.
They close your account.
Negative.
Exactly. They don't want you as a customer. So it's going to be the same thing in life. Like, we have to start to apply the same thing in our life. So like the same analogy that you have with the bank, I have with a petri dish, right? Mm-hmm. Remember when we were in Miss Illy's class with the petri dishes, and we would do the swabs, and we would set up the environment so that we can see the different bacteria that would grow, and then we would look at them under the microscope, right? Exactly. So in order for us to be able to get those different bacteria to grow, right, we had to set the right environment. So the proper lighting, the proper heating, the proper everything, right? So the same thing that we would apply in microbiology has to be the same thing that we apply in macrobiology. Yes. So in our daily lives as well, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up in the right environment in order for you to be able to grow and to flourish. And so if you are around people who are tearing you down, then those people do not need to be in your life. You need to be around people that make you want to be better, that make you want to grow as a person, that are going to make you want to learn and to do more. And that, I think that's basically it.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
like, that's it, and that's all. Like,
Yeah.
surround yourself with positive people.
Mm-hmm.
Have the right lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Some good sun,
Right.
some good soil, and
Yes.
you will grow. You will flourish.
Yes. Yes.
And the negativity, the fears, the failures, those things are somehow going to always be there. It's not like you can eliminate it. Some people are family members. Sometimes I wish I could divorce some of my family, but I can't. They're family. You got to love on them. But you can, make adjustments and set boundaries with your family so that you can still exist in a healthy way for yourself.
Right.
It's all about being true to yourself and living your best self for you, not for anyone else. You have to definitely start with yourself.
Love them from afar.
Yes.
There is such a thing as loving family from afar.
Yes.
So yes, I totally agree with that. In terms of toxins, let's also talk about habits, because we can have toxic habits, things that we do to ourselves that also prevent us from being able to be happy and to be successful in life. So like earlier on, you were talking about how you had to learn how to plan and set up your life. For me, oh my goodness, I am the biggest procrastinator ever. And it is in relation to fears. And so I allow these fears to deter me or defer me from being able to do things, and I hold it off and I hold it off until finally I don't have any choice but to have it get done. So what other habits, toxic habits, would you say people have that should be they should take into consideration or adjust in their life? Can you think of anything?
Oh, I can think of a ton. There's toxic spending. There's
that's me too.
Wasting
shopping.
time.
Yes.
Oh my God, time is the big. I hate for time to be wasted. I was on the phone with my brother today, and I've been asking him, what are you doing? He started this photography business. I said, what are you doing? He said, I haven't had time. I said, really? You just got a new laptop. I said, what have you done? Oh, I watched a Netflix special. I said, how much time was that Netflix special? He said 10 hours. I said, 10
oh my
hours.
gosh. Wow,
that's a lot of time.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a lot of time.
Yes.
And so, time, I feel like people waste a lot of it. And I feel like, I've gotten to the space where I recognize how important time is and how
Right.
much of a resource it is.
Right.
I used to think that money was the most important resource, but
Uh-huh.
I know now that it's time.
Yeah.
And so I say, be aware of how you're spending your time, how you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with.
Yes, yes.
Noticing your patterns of behavior. I feel like just doing a little bit of self-reflection helps with that. I noticed that every time I was met with fear, I would cower into my shell. I would become withdrawn. I would become depressed.
Yes.
And so now that I know that, I'm aware of it. When the fear is there, it's like, okay, you're not gonna go to that place.
Okay.
I come back out of that shell and I face it head on because I don't want to go back to that space.
Right,
I want to
right.
be able. Yalavon Zan is my favorite quote ever. I live by this quote. Go towards that which you fear because it's the only way that you will grow.
Wow.
I live by that.
Wow. Yeah. Very powerful.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down too.
Yeah.
Text that to me.
I will. It's, I live by it because the fear doesn't go anywhere. You have to navigate through, or at least learn how to navigate through that toxicity. You're saying you're a procrastinator. I was a procrastinator. I had a whole blog on how, I don't think it's fair that people say you can't procrastinate. If it's working for me, then let it work for me. But I got to a space of life where it wasn't working for me anymore.
Right.
And I had to be woman enough to admit that, like, this is not working, and it has become something that was working. That comes with self-reflection, knowing what was once working, and when it no longer is working anymore, and knowing to do something different, and being aware of that negative behavior. And that's how I became a planner.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely need to get more into self-reflecting and meditating. I see you sometimes, on your vlog, and you talk about meditating and about prayer. And I totally agree, Sharon. For me, it is so important, and I'm so excited to be working with someone who has that like-mindedness and believes the same thing. Even my shirt, I want to send a shout out to the creator of this shirt. I am Ladoon. So he created this shirt called My God versus My Enemies. And I think it's so important. This to me is another important quote, because it's like we have to remember who we are and whose we are. We are God's children. And, he's already told us to cast all our burdens on him, and that he's going to take care of the rest of it. So, just having things like this is another thing that's important to me in terms of consumption. The words that you have around you is also very important in making sure that, like, you remain in that right frame of mind. So, yeah.
No, yeah, and I love this shirt.
Thank you.
I love the fact that my God is superimposed. It's big. It's saying that my God is bigger than my enemy.
Right.
And I feel like we know that on some levels, but we don't even tap into that because, again, going back to relationships, that is the number one relationship that we should be having in our life. Is with God. And that's why for me meditation and prayer is so important. And I had gotten away from it definitely for a long period of time. And then because I'm a writer, I went back and I'm looking through my journals. I have all these love letters to God. All of these love letters, and it makes me feel so good. Yeah, because I have to write my prayers. Like I write my prayers to God, and it was beautiful going back to see that. So now I'm in that space where now I speak my prayers to God. Now I'm in that space of being vocal and allowing my voice, because as a child, my parents, my family picked on me for having an annoying voice. That was what I was always told. Yeah, I know, right? Like, so now I think I have an annoying voice, and it stopped me from. I used to sing. My family, like, your voice is so annoying, and all those things. It silenced me for a very long time.
Yes.
But now, God is like, no, use your voice, baby. Use it. And so now I say my prayers, and I get into stillness, because sometimes people believe that being busy is being productive. And so that when we're like still, I'm not doing anything, no, be still, turn the TV off. TV is toxic.
Yeah,
I haven't had a TV in my house in a long time.
Really?
We don't have a TV in the house. I do have Netflix and Hulu. I'm not living in a shell. I watch some things on, my laptop.
Okay.
But it's a reward system for me.
Okay.
If I get something done, I turned on the laptop to watch This Is Us the other night. And I felt so guilty because I needed to write something and I didn't do it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to turn this off and, and get it done because it's like, it's important to me what I do with my time again.
Okay.
And that I'm on top of things. And for me, yes, TV is entertainment, but there's a time for play and there's a time for work.
Right.
And I just feel like we're not doing enough work. And then we make excuses that I was tired after I got home from work.
Right.
But you sat on the couch and scrolled through Instagram while the TV was on.
Yes.
You did something with your time. You just chose to use your brain in a different way. And you're making excuses for why you can't do something else with your time.
Right. Oh my goodness. That is so me. I find myself, it's an escape for me to where I will go and watch a show because I'm afraid to do the work that I'm supposed to be doing. So that is so true. And I like the idea of using it as a reward system where you have to do this in order for you to be able to do that. And we have DVR now. So, I mean, you can't say, oh, I'm going to miss the show. Put it on DVR and get your work done. And after you get your work done, then you can go and watch whatever it is that you want to watch. So great advice. I'm going to write that one down and use that. Yes. In terms of habits, the last habit I wanted to talk about was just in terms of our mental habits and how we speak to ourselves. One of the things that article talked about was self-loathing. And so you were speaking about it before, just in reference to your family and them saying that you had an annoying voice. And for me, one of the things that I do is I'll look in the mirror sometimes and I'll tell myself, oh, I wish my arms were a little bit smaller, or oh, I wish this was smaller. And so that self-loathing is toxic as well. Us saying those things to our body, we don't realize it, but that has an effect on us physically as well. It affects us mentally in terms of our confidence, and physically, as our confidence goes, you start to see other things. Like you ever see people who walk around and they have their body guarded and they're bent inwards, and so all of those things have an effect. So be careful the things that you say to yourself. You want to make sure that you're wearing and you're watching and consuming things that are speaking life into you and encouraging you.
No, absolutely. I just did a video this past week on me not loving myself because as I was rewatching a Facebook Live video, a previous one that I did, there was all this negativity going on in my head. And so then, there was this voice that said, you don't love your Sharon. Why don't you love yourself?
Wow.
And then the next voice was like, how could you not love yourself? But then it was so heavy when it came to me.
Wow.
It was so heavy. And I was just like, oh, okay, what is this here? And then I noticed that I wasn't using my voice when I wanted to. I wasn't speaking up. I started reflecting.
Wow.
Where had I said yes when I wanted to say no? Where was I not being more disciplined in my words? Why was I eating sweets every day, even though I was telling my clients that they could get diabetes? But here I am eating it every day.
Minus potato chips.
Right? Like it's something, right?
Yes.
But we know better, but we're not doing better. So how is that we being loving to ourselves, we being kind when you know better, but you're choosing not to do better?
Right.
That's a lack of love on some levels. And so, I feel like it's so important. I had to check myself. I had to start making different choices. So now every day I started asking myself, how can I be more loving to myself today?
Yes.
And some days it's do nothing today. Don't do any work. Don't turn on the laptop. Don't do nothing. And I listen to that because we have to honor that, spiritual connection. We have to honor that voice that tells us what to do, but we don't want to hear it. A lot of times people are so far gone that they can't even, you can't even tap into it. And so that's why I feel like meditation and reflection is so important, so that you can hear God's voice, hear what God is trying to say to you. You can pray all day long, but if you don't get still to hear what God is trying to tell you, to see what God is trying to tell you to do, you're never going to hear what he's trying to say.
It's so true, so true. Well, I need to get to this macaroni and cheese because it's definitely getting cold. But on an end note, I just wanted to say we have come to the end of our discussion on fears, failures, and toxins. So at this point, Sharon and I want to challenge everyone else out there to take some time this week and really meditate on what your fears, your failures, and what your toxins are in your life. And even take some time to comment down in the comment section below about, what fears and failures you have. And then after you take the time to reflect on that, I also want you to come up with a plan for how it is that you are going to cleanse your environment of all of these different fears, failures, and toxins, so that you can now move forward into the next part of your journey. So I just want to say thank you so much to Sharon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been an amazing experience. From the bottom of my heart, you don't know how much it's meant to me for you to be here. And it's so funny for this to come full circle because we not only went to high school together, she lived down the street from me.
Like literally.
And so, it's just so crazy in how, like, in me realizing that this is my purpose and me starting to walk into my purpose. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw your page and I saw, what you were doing and, your mission. And I, at that time, was looking for someone to have this discussion with. And I just feel like God has just been placing the right people in my life at every moment in order for me to be able to get this done. And so that's how I know that definitely I'm living in my purpose. I'm now walking in my purpose. And so it means so much to me to be able to do this with another sister. So thank you so much. Please don't forget to comment below. If you need any help, Sharon and I want to help you. We are here to build one another up. So we are going to leave our information down below as well, so that if you want to contact us to work on your fears, your failures, your toxins, and cleansing your environment, you'll be able to do that. Stay tuned next week because this was only part one of the detox. Next week we're going to do the digestive detox. So now we'll get into the physical aspect of things. Thank you guys so much. Sharon Elise signing out. Jen the RN, the motivational eater, also signing out. Have a great evening and God bless. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below. Please also remember to check out our Instagram pages. Mine is The Motivational Eater, and Sharon's is Sharon Elise 12. You can also check out her website, SharonElise.com. I want to congratulate all of you on beginning your journey to a healthier you, one in which you're connected with yourself and understand your body's wants and needs. If nobody told you today, know that you are loved. You are fearfully and wonderfully created. You are strong and you are courageous. It's time to live your best life. Please stay tuned for next week's vlog, where we will discuss part 2, the detoxing of your digestive system. Once again, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time. Peace until next time.